Hello there. This is just a basic language video. Occasionally I'll make these type of videos sometimes. They won't mainly be a certain language based. It will mainly just be languages in general. Um, this is basically, and I've dealt with this so many times before when I was learning languages, how do you deal with language criticism? Like, say you're learning a language that you want to learn, and say your friends or family don't really like it, or they don't understand, or something. Um, these are the type of things that I usually hear. I don't know if you hear the same thing or something different. If you hear something different, you can easily comment below and tell me what you hear. But this is what I hear sometimes. One thing, something I hear, why waste your time? Like, for instance, I remember one time I was learning a little bit of German, and my uncle saw it and was like, why are you wasting your time learning that? Well, I'm not wasting my time because it's well known that people who learn different languages, it helps out their brain more, learning multiple languages. They actually found that with studies. It's very interesting. Another thing that I get, especially from my uncle, don't learn that, learn Spanish. This is because they just look at the region around them and are like, well, you only have to learn Spanish, that's the only foreign language you have to learn, and you only have to learn the conversational. You know, like I said before, my uncle, he'll be like, I remember one time I had I had a Russian book, yeah, and he saw me with it one day. He was like, what's that? And I was like, oh, it's just a Russian book, you know. And he looked at it and he said, why are you learning this? When are you going to learn to speak Russian? You should really be learning Spanish because because of all the Mexicans around our town, you'll need to learn it. And, you know, this is kind of ignorant of him, I should say, because, yes, even though Spanish would be the best because of all the Spanish-speaking people in our community, learning another language besides one that you have to learn really helps out the mind, as I said before. Is very good. And this one, the third one I hear from my parents a lot, must be a girl involved, especially if you're a guy learning languages. I remember just today I was showing my parents all the stuff that I'm learning with Albanian, and my mom all of a sudden said, oh, so there's a girl who speaks Albanian. You know, she automatically assumes that, okay, the only reason why I'm learning a language is to impress a girl whose native tongue is that language. So she sees this and is wondering, well, the only reason why you must have this is because you found a girl who speaks Albanian and you want to learn it to impress her. Well, that is not the case. Another misconception is, when would you need that? That's another phrase I hear from my uncle a lot. When will you need that? Like, he thinks that the only foreign language you'll need around here is Spanish. So he doesn't understand that in this town there are not just Spaniards. There are also Italians, there are also tons of Greeks, and there are tons of Albanians. In fact, even though the major language in my area spoken is Spanish, you will also hear a lot of Greek and a lot of Albanian as well. So, you know, why would you need to use that? Well, if there's Greeks in our area, if there's Albanians in our area, then hey, I can use it. Then the last misconception, this is another favorite of my ignorant uncles. Everyone should speak English. I heard him say this when they were debating languages years ago, and when I was learning a language, you know, I was showing him something in Spanish that I learned, and he was looking at it and didn't get it, And he was like, why would I need to learn that? Everyone should speak English. They should have, our national language should be English, and every foreigner that comes in here has to learn English in order to become a citizen of this country, and if they even speak their language, they should be deported. Well, that's very egotistical and very not good, because I don't think, while it would be helpful for everyone to speak English, I don't feel like we should really force people to speak English. I don't agree with appeasing to them in their own language. Like, for instance, with directions, you accidentally flip to the Spanish side, or you accidentally flip to the French side, I do believe that we should at least learn some English to get along in this country, but I don't believe that everyone should speak English and that only English should be taught and only English should be, I'm not like that. Unlike other people, like my uncle, I believe that learning a foreign language is good for your mind. It helps you open up to a new culture and even new friends as well. In fact, one polyglot named Moses, he has told many stories of where he would meet someone who speaks a foreign language that he knows, and he would automatically become friends with them because he spoke their language. So you can learn language to meet new friends. Say I speak Greek to someone, or if I speak Albanian to someone who knows Albanian or Greek, then they'll become interested and be like, so you know my language, that's pretty good, interesting. And they'll find it so amazing that you took the time to learn your language, especially if it's a language that's not widely used. Like, for instance, Spanish. Well, yeah, it's typical for everyone to know, to at least take Spanish or something because, Spanish, yeah. But if you learned, of their language, like if you have a friend that speaks Greek or a friend that speaks Albanian, and they hear you speak their native language, then they'll be really impressed because you actually took the initiative to learn their foreign language, their native tongue. So anyway, that's basically what I encounter. If you want to, I don't know, if you encounter any of this stuff, you can comment below. If you encounter any of the stuff in your language learning in the past, or if you heard of another saying that people tell you to discourage you and stuff like that. Well, at least to try. It doesn't discourage me at all. They try, but it doesn't work. So if you hear of any new weird sayings, you can comment below, or if you have any experiences that are like this that I have gone through, you can please comment below. I'll be glad to hear them and stuff like that. What really gets me is I don't really particularly like this, because people just assume that, if something isn't the majority of the population, you shouldn't bother learning it, or they think you have hidden motives, stuff like that. I don't like that, and I just want to know your opinion on it as well.